Hi, it's Katrina. From holding off an army all alone to a monk who fought 999 enemies, here are 10 of the toughest warriors of all time. Number 10. Viking Berserker. Viking warriors were well trained to use a variety of weapons, but the battle axe struck fear into the hearts of many. An unknown Viking warrior may have changed world history forever. The Battle of Stamford Bridge in September of 1066 marked the end of the Viking Age. The battle was between King Harold Godwinson of England and the invading Viking forces led by King Harold Sigurdsson. That year, there were 300 Viking ships on their way to England, led by King Harold's brother. The English king took his army to meet the Nordic army, catching them completely by surprise. When it came time for battle, the Vikings were cut down as they tried to retreat across a bridge. But here the English were stopped by a mighty Viking wielding an enormous axe all alone. Based on an Anglo-Saxon chronicle, we know that this massive Norse axe warrior blocked the narrow crossing and single-handedly held up the army. He cut down as many as 40 English soldiers until he was finally defeated, stabbed from under the bridge. Nobody knows what this warrior's name was, but he has gone down in history as a legend. So many died in the river and around the bridge that it was rumored that even 50 years later, bones were still covering the fields. The defeat of the Norsemen marked the end of the Viking Age. Number 9. Soldier Million. Aníbal Milais was a farmer from northern Portugal who was drafted into the military in 1915 during World War I. 2 years later, he traveled to France with the 2nd Infantry Division of the Portuguese Expeditionary Corps, and they were deployed to the front lines. In April 1918, Milais took part in the Battle of the Lys, also known as Operation Georgette, and the Battle of Estaire, the second of 2 spring offensives launched by German General Erich Ludendorff. It would prove to be the costliest engagement of the war for the Portuguese in terms of human lives. The night before, the 2nd Division and a Scottish regiment they had fought alongside received an order to pack up and withdraw from the field for rest after suffering many casualties and extreme exhaustion from months of warfare. The Germans attacked in the early morning hours. Milais remained behind as the rest of his group retreated. To give the impression that his position was heavily defended, he shot from different locations until he ran out of ammunition, killing many Germans and effectively covering his fellow troops' withdrawal. The Germans bypassed Milais' position, so he followed them alone for 3 days until he encountered a Scottish major who was separated from his unit. The pair traveled together to safety. Milais kept silent about his actions against the Germans, but the major he assisted informed his superiors of the brave soldiers' heroic deeds, for which Milais received Portugal's highest military award, the Military Order of the Tower and Sword. While presenting the award, Major Ferreira do Amaral told Milais that his actions were worth 1,000,000 soldiers, earning him the nickname of Soldier Million. Number 8. Boudicca. Boudicca, queen of the British Celtic Iceni tribe, defied tradition around 60 AD when she led an uprising against the conquering Roman Empire in Britain. Her husband, King Prasutagus, ruled the Iceni tribe and had an uneasy alliance with the Romans. When he died, leaving no male heirs, the Romans ignored his will, which granted his kingdom jointly to both Rome and his daughters. They annexed the kingdom by force, publicly flogging the women and humiliating them as a psychological warfare strategy. Instead of weakening them, it enraged Boudicca, who gathered a large army of Celtic tribes and led a revolt. They destroyed Camulodunum, a settlement for discharged Roman soldiers and home to a temple, as well as 2 other cities. Boudicca and her followers tortured and killed somewhere between 70,000 and 80,000 Romans and British, causing Emperor Nero to consider withdrawing forces from Britain. However, Boudicca was ultimately defeated. It's not clear what happened to her. One story goes that she may have killed herself to avoid capture, or she may have died later from an illness, but her refusal to back down to one of the most powerful empires in history makes her a hero and a powerful symbol of the United Kingdom. Number 7. Dipprasad Pun. Dipprasad Pun is a sergeant of the Royal Gurkha Rifles, or RGR, a rifle regiment of the British Army that recruits Nepalese soldiers. These elite warriors are known for their exceptional bravery and skills. While on sentry duty at a checkpoint outside his unit's compound in Afghanistan one night in September 2010, Sergeant Pun discovered a pair of insurgents trying to lay an IED in a road nearby. He quickly realized he was surrounded by Taliban fighters armed with AK-47s and RPGs who launched a well-devised assault on the post. Pun fought back against the attackers using every weapon available to him. He shot back with his machine gun until it ran out of ammunition, then tossed 17 hand grenades and a landmine at the enemy before resorting to his SA-80 service rifle. At one point, a Taliban fighter climbed on top of a nearby building and rushed toward Pun, whose weapon misfired. The quick-thinking soldier took the tripod used for holding his machine gun and threw it at the enemy's face, knocking him off the building's roof. Pun continued fighting alone, leaving as many as 30 Taliban soldiers dead by the time reinforcements arrived. Queen Elizabeth II awarded him the Conspicuous Gallantry Cross for his courageous and vigilant actions. At the ceremony, Pun said that at the time I wasn't worried. There wasn't any choice but to fight. The Taliban were all around the checkpoint. I was alone. I had so many of them around me that I thought I was definitely going to die, so I thought I'd kill as many of them as I could before they killed me. Number 6. Sempronius Densus. Sempronius Densus was a centurion in the Praetorian Guard of the Imperial Roman Army, which was tasked with protecting the deputy emperor. In 69 AD, the Emperor Galba chose a man named Piso Licinanus as deputy emperor. This enraged Marcus Otho, a powerful citizen who had expected to be appointed to the position. The embittered loser responded to Galba's unexpected choice by conspiring to assassinate both him and Piso Licinanus. While Galba and the newly chosen deputy emperor rode through the streets 5 days later, a group of renegade Praetorians under Otho's command attacked the pair. Some of the soldiers fled the scene, while others joined in on the assault. Sempronius Densus was the only Praetorian who acted according to his duties. First, he forcefully opposed the rebellious soldiers, and when that wasn't enough, Sempronius began fighting them. His actions bought time for Piso, the deputy emperor, to escape to safety. The philosopher and historian Plutarch wrote that Sempronius died defending Galba and Piso after being cut beneath his knees and falling to the ground. Tacitus, on the other hand, claimed that Galba died first. Either way, it's clear that Sempronius kept his commitment to defend the men, unlike his fellow soldiers, and he paid for it with his life. These and other accounts of the event all agree, however, that the assassins hacked up Galba's corpse and paraded it through the streets with his head on a stick. Meanwhile, 2 Praetorians found Piso hiding in a temple. They dragged him outside and killed him. Number 5. Simo Häyhä. Hailing from a family of farmers in southern Finland near the Russian border, Simo Häyhä joined the Finnish White Guard, a voluntary militia, at age 17. Before continuing on to serve for the Finnish army. He proved himself an expert marksman and received sniper training in 1938 on the eve of the Winter War between Finland and the Soviet Union that broke out the following year. In just 98 days, Häyhä killed hundreds of enemy soldiers, averaging around 5 kills per day amid biting sub-zero temperatures and limited daylight hours. He achieved his highest daily count on December 2, 1939, with 25 kills. Häyhä's diary, which was discovered in 2017, estimates his total kills at around 500, while various military records credit him with at least 438 kills and as many as 518. Some historians are skeptical of these large numbers, but there is also no evidence to suggest that they are deliberately exaggerated, and it is generally agreed upon that he was responsible for at least 200 kills. Häyhä himself never spoke of his wartime activities. He remained largely out of sight, quietly taking out the enemy, but the Finnish press used him as a propaganda tool starting early on in the war, making him an official hero. And now for number 4. But first, want to give a big shout out to James Connell and David L. Thanks so much for being a part of Origins Explained. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe before you go for more videos like these. And let me know your favorite warrior or warrior culture in the comments below. Number 4. Saito Benkei. Saito Musashibo Benkei, or Benkei for short, was a Japanese warrior monk who lived during the latter years of the Heian period. A popular figure of Japanese folklore, he is commonly depicted as incredibly strong, fiercely loyal, and of an exceptionally large build, reaching 6.6 feet tall by the time he was 17 years old. From an early age, Benkei faced prejudice for his monstrous size and his wild hair and long teeth, earning him the nickname the Devil's Child. After a stint at a Buddhist monastery, he became a member of a sect of mountain ascetic hermits. known as the Yamabushi. Then he went rogue and became a warrior. Benkei was armed with 7 weapons, which he is often depicted carrying on his back, including a sword, a broad axe, a sickle, wooden mallet, iron staff, Japanese glaive, and a saw. According to legend, Benkei saw samurai warriors as arrogant and distrustful. He challenged 999 of them to duels and won every time, collecting another samurai's sword with each victory. Benkei lost his 1000th challenge against a young man named Minamoto no Yoshitsune, who carried a gilded sword. After losing to Yoshitsune a second time, Benkei became the skilled swordman's retainer, and they made plenty of enemies along the way. When 500 samurai encircled the pair, making escape impossible, Yoshitsune retreated to commit ritual suicide, while Benkei faithfully stood guard against the soldiers, single-handedly killing 300 of them. Realizing that close confrontation would never work against Benkei, the samurai retreated and killed him from a distance with arrows. When they approached, they found the dead warrior still standing in a final display of loyalty and honor for his master. Number 3. David Goggins. David Goggins has faced his fair share of challenges in life. Born in 1975, the Buffalo native experienced racism starting in his childhood and started working as early as age 6 at his family's skating rink. After failing the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery test twice, he was accepted into United States Air Force pararescue training. But he struggled with the program's swimming requirements, and when he tested positive for sickle cell anemia not long after, he was let go from the program. But Goggins didn't let this or anything else stop him from becoming one of the toughest warriors of all time. He returned to the Air Force, completed tactical air control party training, and worked this position from 1994 until he left the Air Force in '99. After his service ended, Goggins battled depression and obesity, peaking at nearly 300 pounds. But a documentary about Hell Week, the most difficult part of Navy SEAL training, inspired him to join the Navy, even though he was older than the average recruit. It took several tries just to convince a recruiter to give him a chance. In 2001, after 3 attempts at some of the United States military's most challenging training and suffering from pneumonia and stress fractures along the way, Goggins successfully completed Hell Week. He was assigned to SEAL Team 5 and served in Iraq. Then, in 2004, the unstoppable soldier graduated from Army Ranger School and received the Top Honor Man Award. Goggins is the only member of the American Armed Forces to complete TACP training, SEAL training, and Ranger School, and his achievements don't stop there. As an accomplished endurance athlete, he has completed over 60 ultramarathons, triathlons, and ultra-triathlons, many that involved running over 100 miles, and regularly placed in the top 5. Goggins even finished the Badwater 35, a 135-mile mountainous run in the extreme heat that many consider to be the most challenging race on Earth. He also holds the 2013 Guinness World Record for pull-ups, having completed 4,030 in 17 hours. While he may not have killed the most amount of people or fought an army all alone, there is more to being a warrior than that. He is definitely one of the toughest men alive. Number 2. Pyrrhus of Epirus. Over 2,000 years ago, a man named Pyrrhus ruled the most powerful tribe in Epirus, giving him control over the region that encompasses modern-day northwest Greece and southern Albania, and at times Macedonia. He reigned on and off between 306 and 272 BC, and is considered one of Alexander the Great's greatest successors. Pyrrhus resembled Alexander with his military abilities. He was highly respected by other generals throughout antiquity, including many who relied on a warfare manual that he wrote. In 282 BC, Pyrrhus responded to a plea for help from the people of Tarentum, an ancient Greek city that was warring with Rome. He traveled to southern Italy the following year with a large Hellenistic army, largely consisting of heavy cavalry and elephants, the latter of which the Romans had never encountered in warfare. Over the following several years, Pyrrhus secured 2 major victories, including one at Heraclea where he was vastly outnumbered. As a hands-on general, he never shied away from the battlefield. Instead, he fought alongside his warriors, encouraging them through even the heaviest action. Combat took an immense toll on the military, leaving Pyrrhus without some of his best and most dedicated soldiers. Meanwhile, replacements became scarce. In the aftermath of the two victories, he realized that their cost wasn't worth it, stating, "Another such victory and we shall be utterly ruined." The self-reflective statement gave rise to the term Pyrrhic victory, which is when someone pays an immense price to win. Have you ever heard of this? Let me know in the comments below. Pyrrhus never regained his military might, but nevertheless continued to engage in battles. He died in a street fight in 272 BC. Number 1. First female Green Beret. In 2016, the Pentagon opened all combat and special operations jobs to women for the first time in U.S. history. A few years later, one female soldier, whose identity has been kept secret, became one of only a few women to ever pass the initial 24-day assessment to qualify for the Special Forces Qualification Course, or the Q course. The assessment tests candidates' fundamental skills, including land navigation and marching with heavy combat gear, Thomas Gibbons Neff reported in the New York Times. From there, Special Forces supervisors evaluate each soldier to determine their readiness for the Q course. The anonymous female soldier made the cut and excelled through her training, according to a senior Army official who revealed to Military.com that the woman was slated to graduate from the intensive 53-week program. She successfully completed the Q course and was the first woman to become a Green Beret after the military lifted its restrictions on jobs that only men were previously allowed to serve. Green Berets work on the front lines, specializing in intelligence and operations, weapons, medical, engineering, and communications. Former Army Captain Kathleen Wilder became the first woman to complete the Q course in 1983, but was denied permission to graduate because she was a woman. She filed and won a discrimination lawsuit, enabling her to wear her rightfully earned Special Forces patch for the remainder of her career. Thanks for watching! If you'd like to learn about more of the toughest warriors of all time, let me know in the comments below. And remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you soon!